Over the past year, the war has gone from a multi-front invasion spanning Kyiv in the north to a conflict of attrition concentrated mostly along stretches of territory to the east and south. The embattled town of Bakhmut in Donetsk has seen the heaviest fighting in months in Ukraine, destroying residential infrastructure and largely emptying the eastern town of its inhabitants. Ukraine has committed to defending the city, which has long been a target of the Russian military and Wagner Group mercenary forces. Earlier this month, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky suggested that Ukraine could order a withdrawal from Bakhmut if its forces risked being encircled with no possibility of retreat. A video recording shows the Ukrainian Armed Forces destroying an ammunition depot of the Russian occupiers in the direction of Bakhmut. The video was recorded by an unmanned aerial vehicle from the 56th Separate Motorized Infantry Brigade of the Mariupol Armed Forces, whose operatives located a hideout that the invaders had set up in one of the houses in the captured village and adjusted artillery fire on it. Ukraine saw 2 bursts of bullets. The first happened a little way off the mark, and after the second, the barn caught fire. The flames gradually increased, and then there was an extremely powerful explosion. Not only that, the armed forces of Ukraine also destroyed an 82mm automatic mortar and the Aistonok radar station from the Russian occupiers. This was reported by the Telegram channel Atom_Tactic_Group, publishing a related video recorded by an unmanned aerial vehicle, whose operator found a target and adjusted fire on it, if not mistaken, from a mortar. Meanwhile, as Russia prepares for Ukraine to launch its counteroffensive to retake territory it has occupied, the bloody battle for the industrial city of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine continues to rage. Russia has been deploying troops to the region since the summer of 2022. The capture of the war-torn city would be Russia's first major battlefield gain in over half a year. Reports suggest Russian troops are preparing to prevent Ukrainian advances in Crimea, the Black Sea Peninsula illegally annexed by Russian President Vladimir Putin in 2014. Russian troops have fortified the area. Photos and videos circulate of trenches being built on the Crimean coast, while satellite imagery from Maxar, an aerospace solutions company, shows Russian troops establishing an extensive network of defenses on the Black Sea Peninsula. On Thursday, the commander of the Ukrainian ground forces, Colonel General Alexander Syrsky, said they had destroyed a Russian ammunition depot in the Bakhmut area. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces said the same day that in the last 2 weeks, nearly 4,500 Russian fighters had been killed or injured in and around Bakhmut. The fight for Bakhmut has taken a heavy toll on both sides. The chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, has previously called Bakhmut a slaughter party for Russian fighters. Wagner mercenary fighters continued high-intensity combat operations alongside Russian airborne troops to push Ukraine from the center of Bakhmut, the Russian Defense Ministry said on Thursday. The airborne troops were blocking Ukrainian supplies and possibly withdrawing from the city. In Bakhmut, the Russian troops continued their offensive in the central area, working to encircle the city from the north and south. Ukrainian troops were forced to withdraw from several areas of the battleground town of Bakhmut as Russia launched a new offensive there with intensive artillery fire over the past 2 days, Britain said in an intelligence update on Friday. Russia has revived its offensive on the city of Bakhmut Oblast of Donetsk because the forces of the Russian Ministry of Defense and the Wagner Group have increased cooperation, he said, referring to the Russian Defense Ministry and its main mercenary force. Wagner has led the Russian side in months of fighting, the deadliest war for troops on both sides, but the leader of the mercenary group has complained about poor support for his troops from the regular military. It said Wagner's units were now focused on advancing on the center of Bakhmut, while Russian paratroopers relieved them in an assault on the town's flank. During the night, Ukrainian Armed Forces destroyed a Russian invader tank in a field near a forest path in the Zaporizhzhia region. The UAV operator set fire to the enemy's vehicle. And for this, a small incendiary grenade is enough, which accurately flies into the tank through the open hatch in its turret. As a result, a powerful internal fire broke out, after which the tank became almost irreparable. Even the Javelin anti-tank missile system and the high-precision 152mm Excalibur projectile do not have such high efficiency. On April 14, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported that Russia had lost 181,090 soldiers in Ukraine since the start of its full-scale invasion on February 24 last year. This number includes the 500 casualties that the Russian forces have suffered over the past few days. Russia has stepped up its offensive in Bakhmut Oblast of Donetsk as the Russian Regular Army and the Wagner paramilitary group have increased cooperation. The UK Ministry of Defense reported on April 14. The Ukrainian defenders still control the western district of the city, but they have come under very intense Russian artillery fire over the last 48 hours, the ministry wrote in its daily intelligence update. Meanwhile, Russian missiles that hit the eastern Ukrainian city of Sloviansk on Friday killed at least 5 people and injured 17, officials said, increasing the number of injuries from the initially reported 15. According to preliminary data, Russian troops launched an S-300 missile at Sloviansk at 16 o'clock local time. Repurposed air defense missiles are known for their inaccuracy and have become Russia's weapon of choice for attacking cities at this range. On the other hand, recently, the bodies of 82 fallen Ukrainian soldiers were returned from the possession of Russian troops, the Ministry of Reintegration reported on April 14. According to the ministry, the transfer was carried out by the Office of the Commissioner for Missing Persons and Ukrainian law enforcement. It happened under the Geneva Convention, which governs the treatment of humanity in war. During an earlier operation in early March, the bodies of 17 soldiers who died in Russia's all-out war were returned to Ukraine. In total, more than 1,500 bodies of Ukrainian soldiers have been returned to their relatives since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion on February 24 last year.